The flags are out, the scores are coming in, and the season is officially on. This is This Week in Women's College Flag Football. I'm Coach Shawn Fennewald. Let's hit the field. Hi, happy Tuesday, February 17th. I'm your host, Coach Shawn. Because of today, this podcast is new. Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm Coach Shawn Fennewald. I coach flag, but I'm also the PE teacher at a local elementary school. I love football and history, and I'm the kind of person who reads these kinds of books. When the WW Owls started their program, I became aware of the growing world of women's college flag football. I went online to see what I could find, and there was not much there. So I decided to help tell the story, seeing that football is growing to include new people who love the game the same way that I do. This has been a great adventure. In less than a year, we've made lots of friends and coaches, athletic directors, club and rec directors, players, parents, fans. When folks like Troy Vincent Jr. or Heather Denish and Flava Flav interact with us on our socials, we notice. But most of all, though, we've heard from numerous young ladies and their coaches and parents thanking us for the resource. Knowing that this platform is helping young ladies find opportunities has been meaningful, it's been rewarding, and it's been a lot of fun. So the goal remains here to spread a spotlight on all the teams and programs, and by doing so, help grow the game. So we're excited also to continue to help the Fiesta Bowl Foundation with covering the Fiesta Bowl Foundation Flag Football Classic presented by Oakley. We'll be flying out to Tempe to Arizona State's campus in April to bring full coverage. Big shout out to CEO Eric Moses and Director of Football Engagement Brett Scroggins for having the vision to put this together and bring this about. Now let's get to This Week in Women's College Flag Football. Let's start with the Crosstown Clash. History was made on February 15th. For the first time ever, UCLA and USC met on the flag football field. It wasn't a high-scoring track meet. It was a gritty, old-school defensive game that literally came down to the final snaps. Both defenses were on point. We went into the locker room 0-0 at the half, with USC and UCLA's secondary making it impossible to move the ball around. By the fourth quarter, the Bruins finally found their rhythm late. After a failed red zone trip earlier in the half, they marched back down and punched it in with under 4 minutes remaining to break the tie. USC had the ball one last time for a comeback, but the Bruins were able to stifle the attempt. So defense was definitely the name of the story. Here it wasn't a high-scoring game. Pitching a shutout in a rivalry game for UCLA was big. USC proved that they'll be able to handle games that come along later in the schedule, only scoring after 30, or that is allowing a score after 36 minutes. Thank you to UCLA Flag and D Voice Of for letting us use this clip of the first ever touchdown in UCLA women's flag football history from Aislinn Seton to Ellie Sipper. The game-winning touchdown beat USC in their first ever matchup. Another premier club program with Division I ambitions, the Arizona State Sun Devils are balancing a tough independent schedule with the opportunity of hosting the Fiesta Bowl Flag Football Classic hosted in April. So after a 25-0 loss to Grand Canyon in January, the Sun Devils bounced back a better team. The scores over the weekend were 28-0 over Redlands. There was a 13-12 loss in another game with them in a doubleheader. And then they came back with a 48-0 win over Cal Lutheran. So don't forget to mark your calendars. Again, April 18th through 19th. As we mentioned, ASU isn't just playing. They're hosting the inaugural Fiesta Bowl Classic there on their Tempe campus. So they'll be welcoming in some big programs like Georgia and Florida, USC that we mentioned earlier. It's the biggest stage in the sport this year, and the Sun Devils are right at the center of it. So before they get to April, though, they have a massive road test this Friday against a red-hot La Sierra squad in Henderson at the inaugural kickoff classic inside the Las Vegas Raiders Intermountain Health Performance Center. So that'll be a big one there in Nevada as well. Moving on, if there was any doubt about why Lise McRae was picked to win the inaugural Conference Carolinas crown, they just erased it. The Bobcats are 2-0. And they haven't just won, they've completely dismantled the competition so far. In their first 8 minutes of program history, the Bobcats scored 110 points and allowed zero. So that was a great lesson to be learned in speed and vertical passing for new programs. Of course, there were some standout players. There was Makenzie Hicks. She's their quarterback. In her first two games, she threw for 372 yards and 11 touchdowns. So that's averaging a touchdown pass roughly every 5 minutes of the game. Ashley Alvarado is their primary deep threat. She got 3 touchdowns in the opener alone. And then we also had Kennedy Van Noy, the ball hawk, with 2 interceptions. And Sophie Antwi Silva was a one-man wrecking crew. She had 8 tackles and 4 sacks. So that's pretty impressive. But the honeymoon phase ends this weekend. The Bobcats are heading to Florida for games everyone is paying attention to against a brutal slate. So there's 4 games with top teams. There's Kaiser, Thomas, Florida Gateway, Daytona State. If someone were to argue with me that these are the best teams in the country, I wouldn't push back too hard. So Coach Mike Brown, he wrote to us that they're heading out today to Florida for 4 games in 3 days. That'll be an early test for them as they face the best teams in the NAIA and the JUCO ranks. He says that personally he thinks Kaiser will be the NAIA champions this year. So hoping their season against them is a huge test for their squad. He goes on to say that the purpose behind the trip was to make sure that they're prepared for tougher conference matchups and for their conference championship, and that he feels it'll give them the opportunity to face adversity and see if they can come together through it, and that he's looking for the challenge, and the ladies are excited that they get the competition there. Notably, Kaiser's coming off a school record 20-win season last year. When they face Lisa McRae this Thursday, it's not just a game. So it's going to be the Bobcat offense versus the Seahawk unit that, for example, shut out Florida Memorial in 4 straight games. So we'll be watching. Speaking of Daytona State, the Falcons are officially on a revenge tour this season, and this past doubleheader is a class again in both dominance and adjustments and how to work through a game. Game 1, their game against Andrew College, it was a blowout. It was an 87-0 win. They had 47 points at halftime, so just pure offense. Then the second game, more of a grind. It was 7-6 at halftime, and then again, the offense really woke up with a 26-7 score in the second half, where the Falcons really showed some grit and really walked into the locker room with a dogfight and walked out with an impressive score there. So between both games, the Falcons played 8 quarters of football. Defense pitched a shutout in 7 of those. And also that, again, in one half this season, they already put up 47 points. So, I mean, that's a great pace there, and shows their depth on their team. And that's an exciting thought, thinking about the game coming up on March 11th there with Florida Gateway. Of course, I forgot to mention the second game was against Point University and the Skyhawks, who played a great game against the Falcons there. But now to swing it out west, let's talk about Saddleback College. They got off to a fast start and was named our January Team of the Month. Brad Hoyseth, he's the SID there. He's great about promoting their team and getting me information, so shout out to him. From him, we learned that the 3C2A has yet to add flag football, but there's supposed to be close to around 25 teams this spring, and the feeling is that the sport could be added as soon as next spring. So Saddleback is going to play an Orange Empire Conference schedule this season, which will include Cypress, Golden West, and Irvine Valley College, which is another very impressive program out there in California. The head coach at Saddleback is Rick Braille, who previously coached at the high school level at Tesoro High School. So the real standout player so far has been Kirra Clavijo. She's shown an elite level efficiency, including that 58-yard bomb to Brianna Sandmark. That kind of vertical threat is what separates them from the rest of the 3C2A programs right now. So they came up with a nice win this week over a promising Ventura team. We also have the video here of Grace Godart opening the scoring with a nice touchdown grab. Jessica Johnson was named the MVP of the game on defense against Ventura with 9 total tackles and 2 tackles for loss. So pictured here, you see left to right, Makenzie Smith, Ella Henry, Michaela Velasquez, Addison Canetta Lee, and Johnson that we mentioned earlier. This Friday, Saddleback hosts an 8-team high-speed tournament, so it's a 4-game guarantee that starts at 9 and a champ crowned by 5 p.m. The teams in Pool A are going to be Saddleback, East Los Angeles, Santa Barbara, Southwestern California, Cypress, Golden West, Ventura, and Mira Costa. So it's a classic 8 teams, 1 day trophy at sunset. That's women's college flag football. Also in California, we got to talk a bit this week to Hope International coach Aguilar about his upcoming trip to Florida after a 34-0 shutout against University of Redlands. Hope International now turns its focus east, traveling to Florida for a defining stretch of the season against some of the nation's NAIA elite there. So again, the Royals will be facing nationally ranked powerhouses. You've got Warner, Weber, St. Thomas before wrapping up the road trip east against Florida Memorial, and then after those 4 games, they'll be heading home. So that promises to test the program's momentum, resilience, and championship aspirations. And it says a lot about a young program to fly out to the so-called Florida Wall. So we wouldn't be surprised, though, to see the Royals compete for wins despite being a new program. We will see some of those finals come in as we post this. Also from California, we heard from the La Sierra Golden Eagles. They aren't just playing on a local field; they're competing in the inaugural kickoff that classic that we mentioned earlier at the Raiders Intermountain Health Performance Center, where the Raiders practice. They'll be playing Arizona State. So the Golden Eagles so far they're 2-0 in their inaugural season, making an immediate statement out west, and with the huge game with Arizona State coming. They've got a 36-6 win over Redlands. It was 18-6 at halftime. Then they went on to score 18 unanswered with star quarterback Ariana Rivera. She was a one-woman highlight reel, accounting for 5 total touchdowns, whether that be 50-yard bombs to Danielle Gomez or running it in herself. Then in the second game, it was a 26-19 win over Mira Costa, a tighter, more back-and-forth game, more of a gritty 7-point win, and then saw the team again learning more how to win tough in their second game. So currently they're averaging 31 points per game for a first-year program uh, with Rivera and her receivers there. That's very impressive. So we're pretty excited to see what they have coming up in the game here against Arizona State. Swinging it back east, the club team at the University of Pittsburgh wrote in to say that the team has only been established for a year, yet the growth has been incredible, saying that their players show up every week committed to improving their skills, supporting one another, and building something bigger than themselves, saying here that they're dedicated to a group of women determined to make a lasting impact on collegiate flag football, and in a short time, they've already reached major milestones while continuing to grow their name and presence in the sport. Hail to Pitt. And they also sent along an exciting clip here from the Pittsburgh Panthers club team. Again, they sent in this exciting video of their game played at halftime of the Browns Steelers game. And this was played during the halftime show broadcast and really brought a lot of exposure to the game. So thanks for the Panthers letting us show this clip.
Presents the Verizon Halftime Report. The NFL powered by Verizon 5G. Fans tuning in have been waiting for a touchdown here in Pittsburgh. They got it at halftime. Well executed. Start of the second half is coming up after this message and a word from your local station.
Hail to Pitt. And also, while we're in the Keystone State in Pennsylvania, we heard from Penn State Schuylkill, where they opened up with a big win over the Hawks of St. Joseph's. Schuylkill is now officially 1-0, featuring Aubrey Brown, a local standout from Schuylkill Haven, who took the reins in the opener, and watching for her ability to extend plays with her legs. Also, Abigail Jones, great linebacker and rusher, is a heart of a unit that allowed just 6 points in the opener. And then, of course, Sierra Wisniewski, the team captain, anchors the line and is critical on offense and with defensive pressure in the middle. So there was a dominant win there, a 15-point victory over St. Joe's, PA. The Lions set the tone early with defense, allowing only one score the entire game. So it was a clinic in defense and flag pulling. Coming up later this month, Penn State Schuylkill will be hosting a triple header with Keene, Mercy, and Mount St. Mary's. Also, March 10th, we'll be keeping an eye on that game against Daytona State, seeing how well the Falcons have been playing. It should be a massive measuring stick for Penn State Schuylkill on the national stage. They wrote in that at Penn State Schuylkill, our women's flag football program continues to advance both competitively and academically. We are committed to seeing developing a roster of high character student athletes who proudly represent Penn State on and off the field. As women's flag football gains momentum at the collegiate level, we remain focused on creating meaningful opportunities for young women to compete, grow, and earn a respected, nationally recognized Penn State degree. So, again, thanks to them for the media that they included, and congrats to Penn State Schuylkill for getting off to a great start here this season. We also heard from the Tornadoes of Concordia, Texas. They played their first games of this season against Community Christian College and KCAC NAIA team, the Cotty Comets, this week. With a loaded schedule, we're pretty excited to see what the season has in store for the Tornadoes. This team will travel to take on anyone, it seems. We also heard from Willie Perez, Coach of the Year in the aforementioned KCAC, as the head coach of Baker. He says it's time for Baker not to be okay with just being okay. It's time that we back up our play on the field that earned us that number 4 NAIA ranking. And then in all caps, that means he's serious. He says it's time to win now. And so we expect to see that much as well. It's hard to dispute Ottawa's place in the game, but considering as much, Baker gives them all they can handle. Ottawa and Baker is always a must-watch game, and this we expect to be true this season as well. So expect big things from Baker and the Wildcats this season. I know we do. From our fellow Fulton, Missouri friends, Coach Holloway sent us this snowy picture in. It has been a cold winter here. It's starting to warm up, so we're happy about that. They earned their stripes last season, proving they can win in the postseason when they look to crash the top 10 this season. They're leading on Addie Shellick, who was just highlighted in a student athlete spotlight for her leadership on that unit. And based on their play last season, we're expecting them to do great things here as well. And not to leave out Westminster, our other hometown team. I see they've been actively recruiting and posted a nice picture of a sunset in our hometown. So definitely keep those coming. I'm really excited for when their games start. Uh, and also, we wanted to do a feature. This week, we spotlight a friend of the site, Ray Black, at Chandler High School. She was a proud member of the Chandler Unified School District, where they were one of just 6 schools that helped launch girls flag football in Arizona. What started as a vision with 6 programs has now grown into more than 100 schools statewide, competing against 3A to 6A divisions. During the first official fall season, sanctioned by the association, Chandler made history by reaching the semifinals in its inaugural year. Recently, Coach Black has been named a volunteer assistant coach at Arizona Christian University, so we wanted to reach out. She said the head coach there, Michael Magnano, and I are over there at ACU have always had a great relationship ever since he was assistant coaching at Hamilton, one of the top flag programs in Arizona. He was a part of the original Hamilton staff when we all got together with AD Sean Rustad to grow the sport. Coach also says that their 6 schools are very close with each other in the unified school district and that they work together well. And that Coach Macagnano saw how well she ran the Castile Flag social media program when she was the head coach there and how passionate she was about building relationships. And she said that he felt like it would be a great opportunity there. And I know upon the hire, ACU announced that Coach Ray has been a major advocate for the growth of girls flag football across the state of Arizona, something I can attest to. She will oversee communications there for Firestone flag football. So rather Firestorm, not Firestone flag football. So thank you again for your work, Coach Ray. Is a great example here of how college flag football continues to create opportunities. If there's someone that you would like us to feature, send us a message. Um, Obviously, as we move forward this season, there will be more to cover. If you want to feature your team, please reach out by DM and we can send our email if needed. I used to work in radio. This is my first try at a podcast like this, so thanks for being patient with me. Before signing off, I want to say thank you to Cody Stoffer and the guys over at Playmakers Corner. I'm a fan of their work and voting their top 25. Our own top 25 will be released the first week of March, but keep an eye on our weekly ratings where we try to keep up to date ratings based on results played. Also, thank you to Matt Dixon at Collegiate Flag Football. He does great work there, keeping us all informed and deserves a shout out. But most of all, very special thanks to all the teams, coaches, players, folks who act as mentors and have sent us content to make the show better. And thank you as always. Don't forget to check our socials and check those regularly. It's a great way to stay in the game. Be on the lookout for us next week as we bring you This Week in Women's College Flag Football. I'm Coach Shawn Fennewald.